Hello, this is TV1 News. I'm Maricela Kelaton.
And I'm Terry Longwood. Join me later on in the bulletin for sports.
In this edition, Japan's think tank shares at SEZ Summit. ARI Group signed new Pogera agreements, and Vipers proved too strong for ISO. Prime Minister James Marape officially welcomed international special economic zone experts and Papua New Guineans present to attend a two-day SEZ summit now underway in Port Moresby. The event, held on Sunday, May 7 at the Stanley Hotel from Monday, May 8 to Tuesday the 9th, is organized by the Department of International Trade and Investment.
More than 400 delegates all over the country, including international speakers, are attending the Special Economic Zone Summit currently underway in Port Moresby. The event has brought together SEZ experts from around the world, government departments and agencies, private sector and the provinces to discuss the establishment of special economic zones in Papua New Guinea. Prime Minister James Marape, as the keynote speaker at the official opening at the Stanley Hotel on Sunday evening, highlighted the country's economic progress over the years, stating that more can be done to put the nation on par with its economic partners through harnessing of the SEZ concept.
Minister Maru knows few sites who are ready, especially those who are closest to port, closest to airport, closest to existing power, closest to telecommunication facility. This site will be given push at the very earliest. That includes Central, West Sepik, East New Britain, Morobe, as well as Manus as a tax-free province, and one or two pioneer in this SEZ like EU and others will be given support.
The Prime Minister has been pushing for the setup of SEZs in the country since 2019 and commended Minister for International Trade and Investment Richard Maru for playing a leading role.
That is why SEZ policy focus has been a key priority of my government since 2019. And I'm very happy that Minister Maru and Vice Minister Sawang are leading this new department we deliberately set up so that it becomes a one-stop shop to host SEZ and all our foreign direct investors who want to come into our country or who are already in our country, for us to diversify, expand, take up residence in SEZ and make it happen.
As leader of the nation, Prime Minister Marape stated that he is looking forward to presentations by SEZ experts from around the world, successful SEZ countries, as well as potential SEZs in Papua New Guinea. The government is embracing the concept to transform the country. He further stated that SEZ expansion is job creation and economic growth, which is a major focus of the government.
Let us now try out other aspects of our economy. I join Minister Maru in offering you SEZ as a hub catalyst and incubator of our economy, so we are stronger, resilient, and sustainable into the future than at our present level.
Susan Oreape, TV1 News.
Day 1 of the Special Economic Zone Summit is underway at the Stanley Hotel in Port Moresby as the conference commenced with international speakers. In this morning's session, opener Papua New Guinea was given the opportunity to listen to Japan's independent think tank and consulting firm, the Japanese Development Institute.
The Japanese Development Institute chairman, Dr. Shoichi Kobayashi, outlined the definition of special economic zones and global trend and the experiences of special economic zones throughout the world. JDI was established in the 1980s, aims to strengthen social development strategies and plans, and in operating SEZs by directly dealing with leaders and calling in private investments in more than 30 countries throughout the world. By taking advantages of these experiences, JDI is a partner ready to support Papua New Guinea's stance to the next level. They are here in the country to help the country drive its SEZ agenda and goals.
SEZ mainly try to bring investor to the country, the creating employment. So I think our target for the Papua New Guinea, we think we can creating about 1.6 million by 2050. 2035, we may be able to creating maybe close to the 800,000 employment. So this is the target. So all the orchestra members, from Prime Minister down to the leader of the tribes, has to understand what the music we're going to play. If everybody have different way music, doesn't work.
Recently, a team of JDI experts, including Dr. Kobayashi, visited proposed SEZ sites in the country, and at the end of the summit tomorrow, JDI will make their recommendations. Meantime, the International Finance Corporation also spoke at the summit to give an insight on the global experience of IFC development. PricewaterhouseCoopers India, represented by Dr. Muhammad Athar, made an impressive presentation on the importance of financing of SEZs. The speakers have delivered an important insight on what is required for SEZ establishments and the learnings to push Papua New Guinea through with the concept. With these presentations, the country's leaders at a national and provincial level remain challenged. Susan Oriape, TVWAN News.
Host of the Special Economic Zone Summit, Ministry of International Trade and Investment, have set out the conference to drive the SEZ concept for economic growth for Papua New Guinea. When presenting at the opening of the summit last night, Minister for International Trade and Investment, Richard Maru, challenged Papua New Guineans to embrace this concept and make it work.
In a packed room of local and international delegates, government ministers, including observers at the SEZ summit, was opened. Minister for International Trade and Investment, Richard Maru, laid the scope for advancing the special economic zones for Papua New Guinea. When commending Prime Minister James Marape for his vision to embrace SEZ concept throughout the country, Minister Maru said the work starts today.
We don't need to fail anymore. We need to get our work right, learn from our mistakes, come up with a new policy, new set of legislation, develop a 10-year plan that we must implement starting this year. Time to talk and finish. Me like him action must start now. And we must deliver a number of SEZs, new ones this year. But we also realize without partners, we ain't going to make it.
Minister Maru spoke passionately about harnessing the concept and challenged the room, especially districts and provincial governments, to work closely with the government to identify their own economic potentials through SEZ and utilizing their resources.
Because I honestly can't see it any other way. We have to make SEZ work. And we must start with a number this year. And to those who have major issues to deal with, like roads, not got power yet, at least let's get the process started and work towards achieving that in time. Because without SEZ, I don't know how your provinces and districts will develop. There are so many districts in our country and provinces who depend on Waigani. So I've been looking at all your internal revenue. Most provinces are on 5 million, 10 million, 15 million, and you receive 200 million from Waigani, 300 million every year to run your provinces. That has been the case since independence. I thank you all who've come with this new glimmer of hope, SEZ, to help transform your districts, your provinces.
With hosting the summit, it will help PNG to learn from other countries on how they have made theirs work. Maru stated that Papua New Guinea must learn from visiting experts and what they will present at the summit. Minister Maru called on PNG stakeholders for partnership and collaboration to embrace the SEZ concept as a vital government agenda to transform Papua New Guinea's economic standing. Susan Oriape, TVWAN News.
Chairman of the National Fisheries Authority, Laurie Williams, says the NFA is committed to implementing the domestication policy. At the Special Economic Zone Summit this morning, Chairman Williams said PNG must own its fish. Fisheries is a lead economic driver to Papua New Guinea. To date, the fisheries sector, through the regulatory arm, the National Fisheries Authority, has made many notable achievements to date that includes attaining the competent authority status granted by European Union, which sees them continuing to gain and consolidating the EU market access where PNG fish and fishery products are sold duty-free through the Economic Partnership Agreement, among others. NFA Board Chairman Laurie Williams at the Special Economic Zone Summit this morning said it is time for the fisheries sector to take the next step forward under the guidance of the Fisheries Strategic Plan 2021 to 2030.
We are also committed to the much talked about domestication policy, especially in our archipelagic waters. All right, the archipelagic water is our sovereign rights. It is our water. Our mantra, and it hasn't been changed in the last 3 years when we've set out the sector plan, is our fish caught in our own waters must be processed in our own manufacturing plant and exported and consumed by our own people.
Williams said at the core of these reforms, in order to meaningfully enhance the impact of the fisheries sector for stronger economic benefits for the country, PNG must take control and ownership of the fishing part of the sector by driving local content. PNG must own the fish caught in PNG waters.
We must own the fish that we caught in our water. Once we take control of that, it will now enable us to build more factories, all right, and more downstream processing. Okay. To do this, that's why we're all here. We need to urgently implement the SEZ Special Economic Zone framework. That's why we're here. This will be a key driver for us to being able to implement our enabling infrastructure initiatives and establishment of our fisheries concept.
Lae is the engine room of the PNG economy, says President of the Lae Chamber of Commerce, John Byrne. He said this is because Lae is a shipping hub. It hosts major manufacturing companies, and the Okuk Highway connects Lae to the Highlands region.
President of the Lae Chamber of Commerce, John Byrne, attributed positive developments in recent years in infrastructure which supports business growth to good political leadership. Lae used to be commonly known as the Pothole City, but it is not anymore. Byrne pointed out that most of the roads within the city are being fixed portion by portion by great leadership and money being spent where it should be, including in the community as well as the businesses. However, he says unemployment remains a major challenge faced by people in Lae and nationwide. Byrne outlines that new investments and growth in existing businesses can create more employment. He welcomed the progress of the reopening of the Pogara gold mine and the development of the Wafi Golpu gold mine as good signs for the economy. Byrne identified shortage of foreign exchange for importers, inefficient electricity supply, and tariff code, IRC lodging massive fines to businesses as current pressures of businesses in Lae. Byrne says efforts by government authorities to ensure businesses are compliant to the laws must be exercised fairly. The Chamber is working with the government to resolve issues faced by businesses in Lae. Salome Vincent, TVWAN News.
You're watching TVWAN News. After the break, Unitec students cautioned and PPL's recovery efforts.
It was during and after COVID that really motivated me to want to take up life insurance. I think savings is very important, and I think One Talk Delight provides a disciplined approach to savings, and it's a good investment to want to think about the future, because it's always nice to have plans for what you want to do later on.
With you for life. Whether we're playing sport, exercising for fitness, being active for work or play, just having some fun, or just chilling, there is one name we can count on that we know will keep us going strong. Skell rice. Healthy, nutritious, delicious medium grain rice full of vitamins and minerals. Skell helps us maintain a healthy, active lifestyle so we can enjoy every day.
Skell rice. Skell life.
From the rich soils of the highlands, the finest coffee has been grown by generations of Papua New Guineans, expertly blended and roasted with over 80 years of experience, making the finest cup of Nescafe New Guinea blend, PNG's own coffee.
Our journey starts with you. We'll be there from the start, right through to your life's adventures. We'll ensure comfort and make your safety our priority. We'll take you to memorable moments, no matter where it begins. And we'll get you there like we've always done. The 4th generation coaster bus, more than just a bus.
Right across the nation, we eat snacks crackers. Emi trupla. All get a young planalapun, only like him snacks crackers. Only make him here, no PNG, one-time lay biscuit company. It's crunchy and tasty. It's irresistible.
Welcome back. 3 University of Technology students have been cautioned by the Leh District Court after they were found guilty of drinking in a public place. A final year student studying applied physics, a 3rd year science in agriculture student, and a 2nd year mechanical engineering student were apprehended with their beer bottles at 5 a.m. at the Unitech bus stop on Tuesday, May 2nd. 2 of them also received an additional charge of resisting arrest. When appearing before Magistrate Isaac Tippett on Friday, May 5th, the trio pled guilty and asked the court to have mercy on them as they are students and first-time offenders. While police prosecution suggested imposing a tougher penalty, Magistrate Tippett said they will not be convicted as this would affect their future. Instead, they were charged 300 kina and bails converted to court fine. The magistrate said the next time the court will not show mercy. Vice President of the autonomous Bougainville government, Patrick Nisira, has announced Bougainville's outward approach to the global business community by inviting foreign countries to establish trade missions in Bougainville to promote trade interest. The Vice President and Minister for Commerce, Trade, Industry and Economic Development for the autonomous Bougainville government, Patrick Nisira, in a press conference announced that Bougainville's outward approach to the global business community is in inviting foreign countries to establish trade missions in Bougainville. Nisira announced on May 2nd. In promoting Bougainville's trade interest, Vice President Nisira quoted the Bougainville International Prong launched in September last year, focusing on trade and investment.
I am cognizant of the foreign affairs power which remains under the sovereign powers of PNG. We will appreciate this special recognition from the PNG government to facilitate our trade and investment interests for the economic reasons enshrined in the peace agreement.
Nisira encourages foreign countries to establish trade missions in Bougainville.
Let me announce again, we are open for other countries to establish their trade offices in the autonomous region of Bougainville. In reciprocal, we will be setting up our trade and investment offices in other countries to promote Bougainville at the global stage. The government will endeavor to offer necessary resources, but we will still require resources from our partners to realize our visions.
Vice President Nisira says the ABG aims to create an inclusive, sustainable economic growth, encourage regional and international cooperation, promote good governance, and improve on what the ABG does. In power supply news, PNG Power has announced that it is taking serious steps to address the reliability issues it is currently experiencing. The company is increasing electricity availability in Port Moresby, Ramu and Lae and is undertaking projects to increase generation capacity and improve reliability through better transmission and distribution. PNG Power recently witnessed the Edevu hydropower plant dam filling with water, which will generate 54 MW for Port Moresby and meet 40% of demand in the nation's capital. The company is also implementing 3-phase prepaid meters to protect its cash flow and rolling out the AMI smart metering project to tackle power theft. PNG Power shows the public that it is working tirelessly with the government and its shareholder KCH to resolve any issues. ARI Group, consisting of 25 SML clans through their mandated clan agents, have signed the new Pogera agreements, claiming that this thereby provides legal mandate to Barrick New Guinea Limited to operate the mine on behalf of stakeholders, which includes ARI Investments and ARI Group Holdings Limited. The ARI Group, consisting of 25 special mining lease clans, in a press conference on May 2nd in Port Moresby, expressed the view that stakeholders in extractive industries under the current mode of operating, where the project operator selects the contractor and imposes the pre-arranged contract on a landowner's company, alleges that it is not only counterproductive but also lacks the mandatory requirement for consultation and prior consent.
No, 25. People are Ambola company for 30 years. People are missing out for benefits, swing of business, like contract. People are not kissing Wambla. Stop zero. Now, a certain man will walk kissing now.
ARI Group claims that in the last 30 years of commercial mining in Pogera, SML clan-owned companies couldn't participate in tender processes due to lack of capacity. The group states that they are determined not to repeat past mistakes in the new Pogera.
I'm the take back PNG and start with Pogera. So, we will have a ground, we will no benefit. We will land on Asia, compared with Pogera gold mine, is surrounded by the community. Mining stop within the community. So one failure where company make him long end. And even a previous successive government. Only no look sabelo, people of Grand Simbagara.
ARI Group stated that rather than making rash decisions and incorrect statements, they urge BNL to engage with them to seek win-win opportunities that benefits all stakeholders. This is TVWAN News. When we return, a look at what's making headlines overseas.
There's a sense of pride when you're able to do something right, a financial decision that has just really good benefits. With BSP Life Insurance, there's that alleviation of that worry when you pass away. The benefits of the BSP Life Insurance would meet those expenses on behalf of my family. If you're young and you have kids, you owe it to your children to make sure they're not left behind when you pass on.
With you for life. He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SB Lager, Bunyamyumi.
A true champion is measured by their courage, their determination, and their passion to never give up and to always keep trying. With a delicious Milo in Milk taste and added nutrients, Milo in Milk is a great way to fuel our little champions with nourishing energy every day. Because true champions give it their all.
Milo, PNG and Mia. Prime PNG made. All One Talks add some excitement to your festivities with the Flame Easter Bonanza. Win a slice of a whopping 300,000 kina by purchasing the Flame Family Bundle Pack, which includes rice, sugar, flour and vegetable oil, all in one go. Highlight these goodies on your receipt and scribble your full name and contact details on the back and pop it in the entry box in selected stores across PNG. 4 fortnightly draws, 100 winners, 3,000 kina each. You don't want to miss out. This promotion ends on the 31st of May. Flame, strength and energy. Terms and conditions apply.
Tired of sniffing, sneezing and congestion? Stop popping pills that don't help. Get essential vitamins found in nature through these supplements that are formulated to reduce the symptoms of common colds and flu. Boost your body's immunity with these supplements that provide a protective shield against nasal congestion, sneezing, mild bronchial cough and sore throats. Walk into a city pharmacy and pick up a bottle of Nature's Way Garlic Plus C and Horseradish or the sugar-free Cenovus Sugarless Vitamin C tablets and say goodbye to sickness. Available at a city pharmacy near you.
Welcome back. In regional news, from homemade guns to vandalism to a charge of attempted murder, the topic of youth crime is one that keeps cropping up this year. Anecdotally, the program appears to be getting worse in Tasmania, and it could be a result of the pandemic.
Mashed, burnt and trashed. This is the site of a much-needed social housing development in Hobart's northern suburbs.
All the windows that have been smashed here, they did around $25,000 worth of damage in one night.
It's one of a number of social housing construction sites that have been repeatedly vandalised by youths in recent months.
This housing complex here has been built for people coming off the priority end of the housing wait list. I'm sure the 4,600 people on that wait list don't thank the people that are doing the damage.
On the other side of town, in Sandy Bay, pharmacist Neda Robustelli has recently banned people from wearing hoodies in her shop.
They scope out the place and then the next day they come in, and this last incident which happened a few weeks ago, they walked straight into our dispensary and grabbed some drugs off the shelf and walked straight out.
She says her staff are terrified.
They don't feel safe in the work environment, which we're here to, do scripts and help people, and I just feel like they shouldn't have to feel like that.
Youth crime has been a hot topic in recent months, fuelled by a few particular events. This year, 2 teens were charged over a stabbing at a Hobart store. A 14-year-old girl charged with burglary was allegedly found with a homemade gun. And a 16-year-old girl was charged after allegedly assaulting 3 people in court. But is youth crime actually on the rise? Statistics show there was a slight increase in the number of youth offences in Tasmania last year, but it's nothing compared to recent history. 13 years ago, there were 3 times as many youth offenders. Criminologist Michael Gazzoni says slight increases aren't unusual, but this latest one could be a result of the pandemic.
Since COVID-19, there's been concerns about the increase in a number of the stresses that are known to increase the likelihood of crime.
What our uniformed members, frontline members are telling us is that there has been an increase in youth crime, particularly in the Southern District, which is concerning for us.
Police say having to constantly deal with repeat offenders is particularly frustrating.
We don't want to see youths entering the criminal justice system. Where it's necessary, it's appropriate and it's authorised by law, we will arrest youths and place them before a magistrate.
The youth justice system is being overhauled in the next few years. But for those on the front line, 2025 might feel like a long time away.
Victoria's Chief Police Commissioner has formally apologised to Aboriginal families for police actions which have caused trauma. Chief Commissioner Shane Patton made the apology at the Youth Justice Commission hearings this morning.
The Victorian Police Chief Commissioner apologised today on behalf of Victoria Police for their actions essentially since the settlement of the state, especially the forced removals of children from families as part of the stolen generations. He said he couldn't imagine the distress that those forced separations caused and the distress that they continue to cause within Aboriginal families. He said he appeared today before the Commission as in his uniform as a mark of respect, but he also understood that that uniform could mean something very different to many members of Victoria's Aboriginal communities, and that could actually mean fear for many people. This is more of what he had to say.
I consider it is necessary and appropriate to face up and accept responsibility for the times when Victoria Police has failed and done wrong. As Chief Commissioner, and on behalf of Victoria Police, I formally and unreservedly apologise for police actions that have caused or contributed to the trauma experienced by so many Aboriginal families in our jurisdiction.
What's been the response to that apology, Sasha?
Well, immediately after the apology, there was a minute's silence in the Uruk Commission, and commissioners also presented the Victorian Police Chief Commissioner with a shield, and they've asked that that be hung in his office and in the office of any future police commissioners in order to remind them of the undertaking that he's made today and of their very important role in protecting First Nations people in the state. The Uruk Commission Chair, Eleanor Burke, also responded to the apology.
Uruk has heard that our people continue to be targeted, attacked, harassed and racially profiled by police. Since then, our children have been born into over-policed communities. Your presence today is important, very important, because if actions do not follow your apology, then what hope will we have?
Who else is appearing today, Sasha?
Well, the Chief Police Commissioner is coming back this afternoon and he'll be speaking later. And the hearings continue today and for the rest of the week. And also appearing right now is Victoria's Police.
Centrelink is changing the way it assesses couples in a move designed to help victims of domestic and family violence.
Changing the way that they define couples for payments and in particular parenting payments. This will come into effect from today, and it'll mean that those who are making decisions in Centrelink should be considering domestic violence and family violence when they are making an assessment. Up until now, there's actually been no process to factor in whether an abusive partner is using payments without the knowledge or consent of the claimant. This has been a long time coming for Economic Justice Australia. They've been advocating for change for about 12 years now. This change has been described as a real paradigm shift for the recognition and treatment of those who experience domestic and family violence. Leanne Ho from Economic Justice Australia said that this is a good first step, but is calling on the government to make a further change for the financial security for those who are experiencing domestic and family violence. She was on News Breakfast earlier this morning. She says that her organisation is working with Centrelink and service providers.
They have this better guidance now on clarifying how the law should be applied, but we want to see how this rolls with Centrelink, and we're talking to Services Australia about how they're going to implement this change. We're also doing training with tribunal members who hear the appeals of these decisions so that they're fully aware of the changes and how they should be applied.
Joe, Economic Justice Australia are also going to be pushing for changes to the special circumstances waiver in the Social Security Act so that victims of domestic and family violence aren't being chased up for debt that their abusive partner has racked.
It's been almost 2 months since flood waters engulfed the remote community of Burketown in Queensland's Gulf County. In a very remote area, an unlikely group has stepped up to assist emergency services in the community's disaster recovery.
A day of shoveling mud and gutting flood-damaged buildings.
Any issues that you're worried about?
It's a change from these land and sea rangers' usual day-to-day operations.
A lot of it's to do with their land management, so we take care of pest weeds, feral pest animals, we do biodiversity surveys.
Unprecedented flooding changed that.
A lot of mess and a lot of health and hygiene issues too, like the town was flooded, so they reckon the sewage systems got flooded.
The rivers surrounding Burketown broke records in March. 37 homes were inundated. Roads into the community were closed for weeks.
The water receded and there was just so much debris and damage everywhere, we didn't even really know where to start.
The rangers have helped to clean out homes and surrounding cattle stations and businesses.
And they basically left the roadhouse, you know, a clean gutted shell. So that's, yeah, we can now do something with it.
Burketown is located in one of the most remote parts of Australia. It's been challenging to clean up and repair infrastructure. The community has had to be self-sufficient to get the job done.
With the rangers' help, Burketown is starting to look back to normal. Now their focus is the impact on local ecosystems.
Erosion, all that sort of stuff, you know, and then the list goes on, you know, because then once it comes from the mainland.
Exciting news for the film industry. Two talented Papua New Guinean siblings, Regina and Graham Pandey, are set to make their Hollywood debut in a short narrative film entitled Butterfly or Butterfly. Directed by Vei Alu, Alia Unsworth, a PNG New Zealand woman, the movie tells the inspiring story of a mixed-race Papua New Guinean American woman who defies her family's strict rules to pursue her passion as a makeup artist. Regina and Graham, now residing in Silicon Valley, are thrilled to be part of this groundbreaking project that shines a light on the experience of Pacific Islanders and Papua New Guinean Americans while showcasing their talent on an international platform. The premiere is scheduled for May 5, 2023, and the siblings are eagerly flying to Los Angeles to attend the event. This is truly a significant moment for Papua New Guinea and the Pacific Islander community, and we can't wait to see what Regina and Graham will bring to the big screen. Grand Chief Sir Bob Dadai travelled to London to attend the coronation of King Charles III and Camilla, Queen Consort, at Westminster Abbey. He was accompanied by his wife Lady Emmeline, Minister for Foreign Affairs Justin Jachenko, and 10 special guests of the Buckingham Palace.
The Governor-General of Papua New Guinea, Grand Chief Sir Bob Dadai, attended the coronation at Abbey in London. Prior to the coronation, Sir Bob met with King Charles III at a luncheon and attended a reception at Buckingham Palace with Lady Emmeline Dadai. On Coronation Day, Sir Bob was accompanied by 10 special guests from Papua New Guinea, including the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Justin Jachenko. A contingent of the PNG Defence Force also participated in the coronation procession. In response to media reports claiming that the Governor-General travelled with a 31-member delegation costing 3 million kina, the acting official secretary, Bill Toraso, refuted the claims and clarified that the Governor-General was accompanied by his official entourage and 10 invited guests from PNG. The coronation concluded with a royal concert at Windsor Castle, to which the Governor-General and his delegation were also invited. Mr. Toraso emphasized that the invitation to attend the coronation was extended to realm countries including PNG, and that the country values its place in the arrangement and its historical ties with the monarchy. Salome Vincent, TVWAN News.
And that ends the news segment. We now have a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. Back home, regional forecast for the next 24 hours. Southern region, scattered showers and thunderstorms with areas of rain. Mombasa region, scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. New Guinea Islands region, isolated showers and thunderstorms becoming scattered over Manus. Highlands region, scattered showers and thunderstorms, then scattered morning fog. That was the weather forecast. Next in sport with Terry, Vipers too strong and the Barries hold out Pride.
The 30th Australia Papua New Guinea Business Farm and Trade Expo will be held in Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea from Monday 15 to Wednesday 17th May this year. Held annually, this major bilateral business forum is essential for anyone doing business between Australia and PNG. Join us in Port Moresby. Visit www.bcpng.org.pg or call the Business Council of PNG on 323-8465 or the Australia Papua New Guinea Business Council on 323-7383 for more information.
Hey OneTalks, guess what? Did you know that with Digicel OneTalk Prime bundles, you get more free data for all your Digicel apps?
Free data?
Yes, get free data for each Digicel app with your OneTalk Prime bundle. Free data means more free entertainment. So what are you waiting for? Activate your OneTalk Prime bundle in My Digicel app or dial *675# today and enjoy free data only with Digicel. Better together.
St. John Ambulance, how can we help you?
Calls like these are a part of our day-to-day routine at St. John Ambulance.
Box base, this is Alpha 130. We cannot locate the patient or the house.
Our crew is unable to locate you. Ma'am, I would like to send you a text which has a link that can help us find you.
Introducing the GoodSim application. When you click on the link, you give us permission to log into your location and get to you in time.
Confirmed box base. Alpha 130 has arrived on scene.
You can save 100 kina. Buy a 40-channel plan for only 85 kina and get a free DTV premium plan.
Yeah.
Watch NRL, Formula One, tennis, or your favorite Filipino dramas from anywhere, anytime. Please help me. Dial 1515 today to speak to a TV agent.
Welcome back. In sports, competition leaders Kramer Osenko brothers continue their dominance in the Pepsi CRU men's 15 competition when they handed Valley Hunters 29-0 scoreline in Saturday's premier match of the day at the Bawa Rugby Park. Valley Hunters were underdogs, went into the match with a plan to give the pacesetters a good challenge, but were unable to match them in size and experience. In another premier match on Saturday, reigning champions Harlequins again too strong for University Piggies 32-8. In the Open Women, Sisters 36, Valley Hunters 7, and Harleys 75 over Uni 0. Moneyplus NCDC Port Moresby Vipers put on a clinical display on Sunday to outclass their opponents Galfiso 32-8 in the first of the Pool B doubleheader played at the Santos National Football Stadium. The Vipers side showed their dominance earlier in the first half and never looked back.
With all the hype of their big off-season recruitment drive and the high expectations from fans, Foundation Club and the flagship of the nation's capital, Moneyplus NCDC Port Moresby Vipers, are starting to show their dominance and class in the diesel Action Mobile Cup. Vipers have recorded 3 wins out of 4 on the trot and look to continue their winning form in their pool matches. Against Issa on Sunday, Vipers made no secret about what their game plan was, with a dominant opening first half that kept their opponents on the back foot for the entire contest. Led by co-captains Fedro Gene and Stanton Albert from the front, Vipers' new spine, Nikki Hasu, Melix Winners and Super George looked on top of their game with good control and direction through the middle. Vipers' latest recruit and Tangao's robust centre, Gerard Pitten, was a menace for the ISO defence on the left edge, making plenty of meters with every carry, which was a wonder to watch. Vipers opened the scoring halfway through the first half with a try to right centre Gilmore Paul for a 4-0 scoreline. Vipers' new number 6 and former Muruks and Tigers player Melix Winners was like man-possessed. His running and kicking game literally blew ISO out of the park, setting up debutant Pitten for his first and Vipers' second try of the afternoon. Winners' attacking prowess was on show again when he created another opportunity and then backed himself up to score, starting the Vipers' scoring spree. ISO, on the other hand, offered little or no resistance whatsoever and were at the mercy of the Vipers for majority of the game. Though they had that never-give-up attitude and showed glimpses of how dangerous they can be at times, lack of control and direction through their spine, drop balls and poor options let them down big time. ISO, to their credit, scored 2 late tries in the second half, but the damage was already done. Full-time, Vipers 32, ISO 8. Man of the match, Vipers number 6, Melix Winners.
Yeah, tough game. We stood out for this game this afternoon. The emphasis during our training, we want the forwards to, lay the foundation in the middle so our halves can manage from the outside.
Compare game like individual preparation of the field. Me me talk long time coming. Previous games we come from bench, but now like coach go with them till running first up. We give us and then we got them just put them all in effort.
The damage was done in the first quarter of the game, so just the effort wasn't there. Very disappointed after a good game last week. Goroka come back now. Now we just didn't come with the right attitude today to play.
Vipers meet Wigman in round 5 Pool B this weekend, while ISO will play Civic Pride in Wivak on Saturday.
Gas Resources Central Dabaris bravely held on to a 4 points buffer to beat fast-finishing EMK Civic Pride outfit 22-18 at full time in round 4 of the Pool B match at the Santos National Football Stadium on Sunday. The Dabaris were leading 20-12 with 10 to go before Pride showed a bit of their own class, scoring a try that would set up a grandstand finish 18-22, 5 minutes to go.
Gas Resources Central Dabaris bravely held on to a 4 points buffer to beat fast-finishing EMK Civic Pride outfit 22-18 at full time in round 4 of their Pool B match at the Santos National Football Stadium on Sunday. Billed as the Pool B match of the round, the Civic franchise came out to prove they are not easy beats, with all guns blazing from the get-go, keeping their more experienced Central Province outfit in check all the way through. While the northern end stands was packed with family, fans and supporters to cheer their teams on, it was obvious the Dabaris were the loudest, which might have got them home in the end. Civic Pride were first to score in the 8th minute through back rower Micah Tom for a 4-0 lead. The Dabaris immediately hit back with a 6-pointer from a kick and chase that saw a friendly foot race between speed machine Douglas Pirica and fullback Junior Bobby for the ball. Pirica getting there first to make it a 6-4 ball game, the Dabaris' favour. From the next wave of attack, a gutsy effort by the Dabaris' rake, Wawe and centre Batia brilliantly paid off with their second try, pushing them further in front, 10-4, kick missed. Pride without 4 of their big guns in Joe Frank, the Tank, Francis Tagai, John Paul and Roy Allison, out injured, looked vulnerable at times but scrambled well to contain the power play of Lega Batia, Sidney Koi, Adekawa, Matthew Wawe and man of the match Cliff Denge. A quick dart out of dummy half by Pride's rocket dynamo, Gary Parai, caught the defence napping, drew the fullback in and then delivered the money ball to Wari Rex to draw level 10-all. An infringement by the Dabaris inside their 30 gave Pride a gift 2 points buffer going into the break 12-10. Second half started in similar fashion, but this time it's the Dabaris centre Michael Yanis going in for a double to put his team back on the driver's seat 18-12. The Dabaris lanky middle forward Cliffy Denge then followed through with another try to skip away to a 22-12 lead. Pride showed a bit of patience and resilience in the attack that saw reserve back Michael Ruggie coming up with a freakish play on the right flank, resulted in a beautiful touchdown by young Sipik sensation and debutant Jonathan Isa to give them a sniff at 22-18. But that's all she wrote, with Central Dabaris picking up their third win in a row at full-time.
NCD Governor Powis Parkop recently challenged the newly elected executive of the Port Moresby Soccer Association to develop a strategic plan to improve all aspects of football in their term. He had met with them before the men's pre-season grand final between Munkas FC and Blue Kumul FC. The governor shared observations, development and improved plans for the game, stressing the need for strategic, specifically in the areas of school development programs, technical development structure, development, media communications strategy, business strategy, product development strategy. He also highlighted the importance of gender equality and supporting campaigns against gender-based violence. The governor's call to action is significant given the challenges facing football in Papua New Guinea. Football is the most popular sport in the country, but it has struggled to gain traction internationally due to lack of infrastructure, funding and support. The governor is setting a clear agenda for change and improvement in the sport, putting to the executive a challenge to develop a strategic plan for football. And that's sports for now. Mary.
Thank you, Terry. That ends another edition of TVWAN News. Thanks for your company. Bye for now.
Bye.
The 30th Australia Papua New Guinea Business Farm and Trade Expo will be